One, two, three, four! Greetings, this is Tom with Buncombe Shinola. Welcome to our series, Humming a Sickening Tune, where we shall be reviewing every single Ramones song in order alphabetically. Today on Humming a Sickening Tune, Any Way You Want It, from Greatest Hits Live. Initially, in their cover version tributes, the Ramones made a concerted effort to align themselves specifically with the post-50s, pre-Beatles goofy pop American aesthetic. Even the early British invasion aberration Needles and Pins has its roots as a Sonny Bono composition in early 60s American cheese kitsch. And it was not until their cover of Time Has Come Today by the Chambers Brothers on Subterranean Jungle and the Rolling Stones' Street Fighting Man during the Too Tough to Die sessions, and finally the acclamation on their all-covers release Acid Eaters, that they fully embraced an interest in any music which had been produced beyond the year 1963 or beyond the American shores. Unlike the Rolling Stones, who were tangibly posited as the more sinister, darker response to the Beatles, the Dave Clark Five, or the DC-5 for those in the know, were branded as competition primarily to the goofier components of the perceived early Beatles fandom, that is, an inordinate focus on an appealing and only occasionally singing drummer, and an emphasis on simplistic beats and arrangements, which would remain unsurpassed until the Troggs crystallized proto-garage rock primitivism as an approach. Indeed, one can only scoff and chuckle at their repeated assertion in their cover of the Contours' Do You Love Me that, quote, "we can do the blues," unquote. The original recording, which was a top 10 hit, is carried primarily through the novelty of its excessive use of echo and reverb. The Ramones make only a passing attempt to replicate the appeal of this sonic flavor, but their lackadaisical copycat only underlines the composition's threadbare elemental attributes and, concurrently, their negligible engagement. Ironically, one must defer to the earlier cover by Kiss from the studio side 4 of Alive 2 for a version which truly embraces the track's spirit. The song appears on their lamentably half-baked late-career cash-in entitled Greatest Hits Live. Could there possibly be a lamer title for a record? Along with, thankfully, their recording of the Motorhead tribute Ramones, the only version with Joey performing the lead vocal, were tossed in as obvious collector bait extras. After the career-defining It's Alive and the later already kind of dodgy Loco Live, this was easily the most embarrassing money grab committed by the band and their management while they were still a functional unit. Their take of Any Way You Want It was seemingly concocted as a blueprint for a secret weapon final stage exit curveball, although they barely included the song in their sets, even in the weeks leading up to the climax of their final tour. The end result grates as one of the most half-hearted, most passively interested examples of cover tribute influence, quote, celebration, unquote, the band ever committed to wax. What do I like least about this song? Well, I suppose it is the schism that exists between the Ramones' seeming lack of engagement with the track versus the place that they gave it in their history, according it an almost venerated position, making it, during a period when oddball set inclusions were a distinct rarity, the absolute last song that they performed at their absolute last show, even trotting out Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam in a pinhead mask, clearly on the basis of his buddyship with Johnny, to warble along in a mumbly fashion. An oddly inexplicable, seemingly inappropriate choice for so crucial a moment. On the bright side, Joey resurrected the track at perhaps his coolest post-breakup performance with his band The Resistance at an Indian reservation. I will put a link to this astonishing gig in the description below. What do I like best about this song? Well, make no mistake, aside from a possible 6 minor change, on paper, this looks like a perfect song for the Ramones to cover. A repetitive, stripped-down example of energetic pop that should have fit the band's aesthetic to a T. In fact, they clearly lifted, without too much alteration, the 4-1, 2-5-1 turnaround middle section for reappropriation into the almost identical bridge of Blitzkrieg Bop. Which makes it only the more baffling that, in retrospect, it is the recording by Kiss, which stands as surely the more knowing, definitive version. Hey, this is Tom with Buncombe Shinola. I hope you enjoyed my playing. I was hoping to avoid copyright strikes, but I will put a link to the real track in the description below. And please let me know in the comments what you think of their version of Any Way You Want It. Coming up next on Humming a Sickening Tune, 8-Man Hop.